Welcome to How to Become a Production SQL Database Administrator. My name is Raphael. In this next couple of videos, or a series of videos, we're going to now get into the HA solutions, high availability solutions called log shipping. Log shipping obviously is one of the HA solutions that I've been talking about, and we're finally there. The other ones are database mirroring, replication, clustering, and log shipping. And we're going to go through these one by one with each subject matter. So the first one we're going to discuss obviously is log shipping. But before I even get into that, let me talk about what we are and what we've done so far and a few changes that I think will benefit you as the student. So summary so far. So these are the steps we've taken at this point. As you know, we created 4 virtual machines on a free VMware software. One was called the domain controller and called it DC. Then we had 3 virtual servers called Server 1, Server 2, and Server 3. So total we had 4. And then we configured the virtual servers where we changed the names, the IE off, disabled the firewall, and so on. And then we finally joined the domain. And then lastly, I installed SQL 2016 on each virtual machine except the domain controller. So at this point, we should have 4 virtual machines and 3 of them having SQL 2016 and ready to go and look at the HA solutions that we're going to be talking about. A couple of things here in red I want you to point out. As you'll notice here, it says updated the free VMware workstation to a 30-day trial version to manage easier with tabs. As I mentioned that when we were using the free version of VMware, it was very difficult to manage individually. So I think it'll be easier for you and easier for me certainly to illustrate that. And it's very easy to do, and I'll show you that in a second. And then what we did was loaded the 4. So how do we, let's get to talking about free VMware Workstation 30-day trial period. Now, obviously, I've purchased this option itself because I got a great deal where it was only $99 for the actual application. So I purchased it, and for my demonstration purposes, I may need it, you may not. That's entirely up to you if you go there. But suffice it to say that during the tutorial of this course, 30-day is sufficient for you to go over the understanding what clustering is and what HA solutions are that we're going to be talking about. So I'll certainly cover that, obviously, or you should be able to cover that within 30 days. But if you feel like purchasing it, that's fine also. So let me go back here. And obviously, you look at the VM workstation, it's changed. Yours has got the yellow icon. So what I want you to do is double click the yellow icon and open up the VMware workstation. When you do that, you'll get this kind of an interface. Once you did, as you can see, I've only got 26 days left, but I've actually purchased the thing and I will install it later. And so what you will see is, most likely on this side, you will not see the servers that you have created. You will not see the DC server 2, 1, and 3. So don't be alarmed. They are still there. When you open this new applications, it's not recognizing them in this pane. So how do you quickly upload the virtual machines that you have created? That's easy. So minimize this. What I want you to do is go to your C drive, double click your C drive, go to users, go to your name. Obviously mine is Raphael. Go to documents, virtual machines, and as I mentioned, these are the paths where each virtual machine has been created. So if you don't see any of them, just double click on the DC, and the one you're looking for, obviously, it says virtual machine. So let me look at that, and this one right here. So with this little icon, so if you double click that, then it'll populate, then go back to server 1, and this one here, and server 2 and server 3. And as soon as you click on those, double click it, you'll see this right here. And then we can begin. And then obviously double click this, right click here and go power on. So right click and power on. Obviously you'll need a power off state. So just power them on. And then now we can work with them easier because, as I said, the higher version has tabs, and it's a lot easier for me to demonstrate that than going one by one, but I think you'll get the idea. So now that we've got this, go to open your DC, make sure that is powered on, go to your server 1, make sure that is powered on, and make sure you go to server 2 and powered on, and we don't need 3 at this time. So the other thing I want you to do, a couple of things, is I want you to get preparation for the logins. Now you'll notice here, obviously, this is DC, the domain controller. And how did I get to this stage? So what I want you to do, let me start from start, is just click on the window key, and you'll get this. Go to Control Panel, Administrative Tools, and then obviously Active Directory and Users. Active Directory Users and Computers, double click that, and obviously that pane for the Active Directory will open. And what I want you to do now is, and what we're doing is creating the users that will access and create the log shipping. So what I did here, as you can see, I just created a user called A, because I don't even want to type that much, and then I joined it to a domain administrator. Now you may not need to do this because obviously in terms of permissions, we don't want to give it domain administration permissions, but for demonstration purposes and to ease security issues that we may have later, it's easy if you just dump it here. But again, in a production environment, you don't do that. So how did I create a user? So we need a user. Go right click, new, user. And then obviously in this pane, just populate the I'm going to go for B, and I'll just put B here. And obviously this is the same thing that I did for A. Go next. Uncheck that first. Check these two. And then just type in the password. And go next. And then finish it. And once we've finished that, well, if you look at the properties here, what I want you to do is join the domain administrator for ease of use. Remember, you don't do this in an environment. This has godlike powers if you give it, so you don't want to do that. But for demonstration purposes, it's fine. So just double click that, go to members, and go add. Look for B, or whatever the name you want to choose. I've just chosen B for simplicity. And then go add. And obviously now he is part of the domain administrators, and just go OK. But we're going to be using A throughout the course here. So the other thing I want you to do is open up server 1. And then what I want you to do is log on to SQL Server using the SA account. So, and then expand security, expand logins. And then I want you to create that domain account as an SQL login. And I think you should know how to do that by now in the previous courses. But if you've forgotten, just go right click, new login. Remember, I'm opening it with SA account. So make sure you have SA account access when you install the SQL Server. So now just type in, or you can actually go search, slightly easier. Make sure you're in the right location. Right now it's always directed to the local computer. We want to change it to the domain, so Active Directory. Okay, and just type in your case, or my case, it was B. So let's go through the process and you'll see it. Double click and go OK. Now once he's there, the other thing I want you to do is change the server role and give him sysadmin rights, because the person or the administrator, obviously this is going to be the DBA, the administrator, so you won't necessarily have to do this. You may have the rights to do this as a DBA, but we're creating a login from scratch. So he should have sysadmin rights, because you need sysadmin rights to conduct log shipping. And then just go OK. And now you see we have this. Now do this for the same on server 2. Right click, new, login, search, change the location to the entire directory, go OK. Again, B, check names, double click, OK. And obviously we want him to have a sysadmin rights also, and go OK. So now he can access that entire SQL server. Now he has godlike powers on this server also. So there's a couple of prerequisites that we need to do. The other thing we need to do, obviously, is now go to server 1 again. Basically, whatever you're doing to basically server 1, you'll need to do to server 2. So let's look at a few more of the things that we need to do. The other thing to do is that one of the requisites for log shipping is that the SQL Server agent services be running under sysadmin accounts also. So what do we want to do that is to give this account that permission of sysadmin. And the way you want to do that now is go here. Now obviously if you double click this, or single click, go OK, and go to your services, SQL services, and obviously you'll see now here SQL Server Agent and SQL Server. Now the services that are by default, you'll have networking services like right here, local services. We want to provide SQL Server and SQL Server Agent with domain access. And so we need to change their things. Now, I've gone through this before in the previous course, so that's why I'm going a little fast here. So you should have an understanding of this at this point. So obviously, as you can see, I've given it SQLA rights, which is a domain admin rights. And the way to do that is I want you to change both the A's and then fill this account. So go to Browse. Now, I'm not going to change it here for purposes, but you can if you wish. And then go OK. Well, actually, I'm not going to go OK because it'll change it. So give the name account B or A and fill in the password that you've done. So now do the same thing. This is more important right here that you do it for the SQL Server Agent, because in a second when we start talking about log shipping, this is going to be an important attribute that the server account that we create, the domain user has access to this and has full rights of read and writes. So do the same thing for here. Go to Browse, go to A or B or whatever name you select for the domain user and give it rights and go OK. And then you'll have to restart the services, which it automatically does. So now we've set that up on both. Obviously, you need to do it to both. So as you can see here, if I go to services, I've done it to both. And it is there, just trust me, but it's not loading right now. So make sure you do that also. And one thing, the other thing I need to do, let's look at our notes. Always look at our notes if we're forgetting what to do. Upload paths. That I've shown you how to do that. I've shown you how to do that. We've got the requisites ready. And I believe we can talk about log shipping now. And we can continue. So let's open that first. And we can close this. So now we're on server 1, server 2. And great. And now, once you've done that, obviously you can still do it with the SA account, but once you've populated the domain user account, we want to use the domain user account. So we'll disconnect here, connect, database engine. And now, as you see, we're using an SQL server login, but we want to use a domain user to log into server 1 and server 2. So go here and choose Windows Authentication. And I've already done that and connected to the A. And I'm going to do the same with A and B and so on. So I'm going to disconnect, connect. So now I'm connecting to the SQL server using that domain account. And I just wanted to show you using the SA accounts how to do that. Let's actually, we don't see a green arrow, so we may want to actually restart that. Same thing here. So let's restart it. Now, how do you get this? How do you get this service accounts? Press on the key. Then you'll see obviously all the applications or specific parts of SQL. Right click and then just pin it to taskbar. Same thing with the SQL server. Right click, pin it to thing, and then you go over here. That's how I got that far here. So now we're on server 1. Double click. Go to server 2. Double click. And now, oops. Let's kill now. Let's see what's going on here. That's 13. That's fine. So maybe we want to kill that and go here. Now let's see where we went wrong here. I think that's the other one that I had. So let's try 16. And there we go. And it should be 13 here. If you don't want to, you want to make sure that you're getting the right 16. I think I installed 12 before and I never deleted that icon. So while that's loading. So now that we are here, we're up to this stage. We're up to this stage where we have, and this is what we're going to create. this is log shipping. I'm going to go into the detail as soon as that starts, and then we'll have a good understanding of what log shipping is and the primary purpose of log shipping. So we need to set that up. So again, just to reiterate, make sure you have make sure you've upgraded the free VMware workstation to 30-day trial period. You know how to now download the virtual machines should you not see them on the left pane. And then this is the path that I showed you how to do them. And once you get to that stage, just open them up and make sure you open the server 1, server 2,